pictures?
No.
Isn't that usually what people do?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm here to inform you guys about relationship development. I'm going to specifically talk about romantic relationship development and the 3 topics inside of it, which is going to be lust, affection, and attachment. So according to Helen Fisher, she says that lust is a physical attraction. It has to do with our hormones, not so much us knowing about the person. So when it comes to lust, we know about their physical aspects. We know what they look like, know what they sound like, and that's usually when we're always just, oh, he's really hot, so let's, try to get his number, try to go on a date with him. So we're not actually knowing the person as a whole. That is when we're lusting after somebody. That is the first step in a romantic relationship development. You see somebody and you like them. And also, according to Brown, that is the initiation aspect of it. So that is when a young person is finally getting to the period where they're trying to get into like a friendship with their peers or a person of the opposite sex. So they're not necessarily trying to go for that romantic aspect at the moment. The second aspect is affection. So that is when you start getting dopamine, Norris, can't pronounce it, and norepinephrine, and serotonin, and dopamine is basically the happy drug. So when you see them, you are just getting clammy, you've got butterflies in your belly, and you're just all sorts of excited. That is the affection period. You want affection from them, you want to see them. That is what high school girls and guys consider a crush. That is when you are just ecstatic with them. Also, Brown considers that the affection period. That is when they are wanting all the attention from said person, and they are giving most of their considerable time to that person. After that, Brown calls it the bonding phase. So that is when you're looking for a bond. Henry Fisher also calls it the attachment phase. Not necessarily wanting a kid, wanting to be married, but it can be those aspects included. That is when your dopamine levels are going to drop in the relationship. Usually the phrase is, I'm out of the honeymoon phase, and things are just kind of flying out of neutral. Your oxytocin levels are rising because your dopamine's dropping, and everything is basically airplane mode. It just flying at a medium, and your relationship is kind of steady. So there's no more highs, no more real lows necessarily, but this is when you've hit that wall in your relationship where you're gonna want to start having these date nights that you used to, really trying as if you're back in that lust phase. So how Holmberg and Mackenzie have put it together is that when we were in preschool, we brought up that in the playground, it is love, then marriage, baby, and then happy ever after. So from that point on to when we are adults, we like that structure. We follow that structure. We see that that's how it has to go. And once we hit that bonding stage, we kind of realize that it all comes back to a full circle. If we don't go back to lust and we don't go back to trying to hit that affection stage with our significant other, we're just going to be flying autopilot and things start to unravel. We need that structure, that time period, and that's what this here explains, that we have lust, affection, attachment. It explains that first is driven by hormones, and then you have dopamine, norepinephrine, and serotonin, and then we hit that oxytocin and vasopressin that we just fly at a neutral until we do it all over again with the same person. So in conclusion, I would just like to say that I hope that this helped you guys understand the relationship development, more specifically with lust, attraction, and attachment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask.
What about
this was only based on like general relationship development, right? Not like any certain special occasions.
No, so this is just based on romantic relationship development. This isn't like like a specific type of relation. This is more just like based on the romantic, how they're going to usually start and end or keep going from that point. Yes.
What about the relationships where you meet somebody and you're not that attracted to them, but you like them as a friend, and then after a while you get to know them so well that you end up falling in love with them, even though you weren't initially attracted?
So that's something that Helen Fisher did mention, is that sometimes you don't even hit that lust phase with your friend. You go straight into attraction. Oh, they're just my friend. And then after a while, you really get to know them. So it was never the physical aspect that had you liking them. It was specifically what you knew. So that was the attraction. So you skipped lust and went straight into attraction after you really knew them. So it was rather a more like connection prior than seeing a person and being like, he's really attractive, and it's just pure hormones right there. Any other questions?
Did she ever mention the development that could further happen after you hit like that lull phase, where like you're really trying to bring the relationship back to like the liveliness that it had before?
No, but Holmberg and Mackenzie did. They said that usually relationships, if we don't have that structure of constantly repeating itself, like the snake eating itself basically, that it's just going to start to unravel. And if we don't keep trying in said relationship, we're just going to kind of hit a wall, and they're probably going to end because you just don't have that consistent trying. Because again, your dopamine levels, the honeymoon phase is just over. Anything else?
Oh, thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.